What's up, boys and girls? Martin here from the Dunsi Outpost with a very special video. As you may have known, last summer, some of us makers got together in what hopefully was the first of several nerd summer camps. And I took the opportunity to interview each of the makers who attended. So, with 2023 coming to a close and 2024 just starting, I thought the time would be as good as ever to share those interviews with you guys. So, here goes the first, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Much later.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
You good? What's up, boys and girls? Martin here from the Dunsi Outpost, and if you may be aware of, for the past few days, I have been sharing the living space with some of your favorite makers during the Nerd Summer Camp. So I decided to take the opportunity to interview and get some insight on the building process of some of your favorite makers. So I'm here with none other than Derek Young from Van Oaks Props. How you doing, Derek?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good. Very excited to be here to have finally met you.
Yeah.
And I have just a few questions to make you know, to get an insight on your building process. So, first off, how long have you been making props?
My entire life, but more like the way that you see now, probably the last 10 years.
How did you become a Star Wars fan?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm just old enough to have missed all the movies being released in theaters.
The original
Or I
trilogy.
should say just young enough to have missed all of the original trilogy movies being released in theaters. So my love of Star Wars started from VHS rentals.
Oh, wow.
And I think like most kids growing up in the late 70s and 80s, it was so different from anything else and was just a really interesting fantasy world to get lost in because it was so layered.
Right.
And to this day, I still feel the same way about it. I think there's just like so much meat to the Star Wars universe that always keeps it fresh.
Definitely. What was the first Star Wars prop or project that you made? You remember?
Ooh. It was probably a DL-44, I think.
The blaster.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I still have. It weighs a ton.
What do you made it out of?
It's made off of it's not the MCG base. It's the. If I knew it was gonna be pop quiz, I would have studied. I can't think of. There's another company that makes a replica Mauser that's not quite accurate to the movie version, but they're a lot easier to find.
Okay.
And it's based off of that, but it's a complete metal build. And I was able to source parts from different places and put it together.
Okay. So you're a big Halloween fan, and you
I
do a
am.
lot of Halloween props.
Yeah.
What's your favorite build so far?
It's typically whatever the next one is, or the one that I've completed most recently. So as a maker, I find that I'm always improving my skills. I'm always learning something, typically through failure. But I'm always learning something about my craft. And every time I make something new, that tends to be the thing that becomes the favorite, because it's the most recent version of something that I've used all of the skills that I've collected over my lifetime into one thing.
Cool. How do you approach your build process? Do you sketch things out first, or do you go and dive right in?
It kind of depends on what it is. If it's a replica prop build or something that's like derivative of something else. So like if it's a Star Wars panel, I'll go and look at what's been done and kind of like put together kind of reference materials to sort of inform my decision making as I move through the process. If it's something Halloween related, I'll usually look at a bunch of pictures. I'll, Google like New England cemeteries to see like really old grave sites and stuff like that. And then I'll start to like pick and choose elements of the things that I see, and then I'll sketch them into something more
Neat.
realized.
What's your favorite part of the build process? Is it designing? Is it building? Is it weathering?
It's figuring it out. It's doing all of the research. It's weird. I was not much of a student growing up, and now my favorite part of any project is like really diving into it and learning as much as I can about whatever it is that I'm going to build, so that the like subtle nuances of that thing really come through in the prop. Because it's like it's one of those things where it's easy to see something and be like, that looks right. But when it's missing that little something, it gets very wrong very quick.
Right.
And so like figuring out what the essence of the thing is before I get started really helps me like find a path to completion, and also helps me to know like what I've done.
Right.
So it's all the research.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Which build project has taken you the most time to complete?
It varies. I have like a couple of helmets that I've been working on for a few years. So I have like
So they're still in the process.
Oh yeah. There's always something that's in process, almost always. And it, you do it when you find the time and whatever.
Yeah, but in terms of working hours, if you subtract the time that you're not working on them, which one has taken you the most time?
I think I've been working on a replica of Rey's Jedi training helmet for probably 5 years.
Okay.
And honestly, the reason it's taken so long is because the longer I look at it, the more I see what's wrong with it.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out how to correct those inaccuracies without having to start over.
Right. Let's move on to the films. Which of your favorite, the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, or the sequel trilogy? Which one of those is your favorite?
Original.
Good.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Star Wars film?
Empire Strikes Back.
Cool. Why?
I think it has the most range of locations and action, and A New Hope was a starting point, and I think they had a pretty limited budget to do what they wanted to do. And after having such success with A New Hope, Empire was that first opportunity to like really do some stuff.
Right.
And I think they did. And then they like pushed it even further with Jedi. So I think it's good because it's like the middle child. It's a little bit of the original, it's a little bit of what comes after. Like you can see where they're trying to take it, and I think that's really interesting from a aesthetics point of view.
Do you know how much of a diehard fan you are? Have you watched all the Star Wars animated series from the original Clone Wars on Cartoon Network all the way to Resistance
No.
on Disney XD?
No, I've watched most of the Clone Wars. And then, unfortunately, like time is always always the problem. But if it just doesn't grab me in the same way that the films do, I kind of lose a little bit of interest. And so while the stories are great, I'm not much of a animation buff as it is. I don't do like a ton of Pixar movies and stuff like that. It just doesn't catch my attention.
Did you watch the holiday special?
Of course.
Okay. Did you
Many
watch?
times.
I'm assuming you watched Rogue One.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch Solo?
Yes.
Did you watch The Mandalorian?
Yes.
All 3 seasons.
Yes.
Did you watch Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yes.
Did you watch Andor?
Yes.
Did you hate the Book of Boba Fett?
No.
Oh, you liked it.
I think there's like 2 camps of people, like Star Wars fans. There's the people who have really strong opinions about the characters and how they're developed and all that sort of stuff. And then there's people like me who just enjoy having something new to see, like a new adventure or whatever. And so I don't look at it with nearly as critical of an eye as a lot of people do.
Right.
So like even the prequels, which are not great movies,
Mm-hmm.
I still find them enjoyable. And I will watch them if they come on.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's move
I
on.
mean,
yeah.
it should be said though, Book of Boba Fett was a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed with the development of the character.
Sure.
Because this was supposed to be the most feared bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's running for mayor of the town, you know?
Yeah.
And it was, yeah, I was disappointed with the way the story went.
Yeah.
But, okay, so trying to wrap this up, I want you to say the first thought that comes to mind when you hear Star Wars,
Lightsabers.
A New Hope,
Luke Skywalker.
The Empire Strikes Back,
Han Solo.
Return of the Jedi,
Ewoks.
Jar Jar Binks,
Who?
George Lucas,
Genius.
Rogue One,
Amazing.
The Mandalorian,
Soap opera.
Andor,
Heavy.
Book of Boba Fett,
Ridiculous.
Brian Thompson,
It hard to say in one word.
awesome,
Great host. Brilliant maker. Good friend.
definitely. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this. This is Derek Young from Van Oaks Props. Thank you for watching. Ron, you can't be here
What else is new?
because I want the questions to be a surprise. And we're done.
Easy enough.
Thank you, my friend. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
Just when I thought my voice was starting to come back,